Assalamu alaikum. In today's lesson, we're going to study auxiliary verbs and find out why we need to use them. Okay, let's watch. Auxiliary verbs are used to form negative forms or questions or sentences like the examples here. We have three types of auxiliary verbs: verb to be and verb to have and verb to do. Like these examples, I am working hard, right? So we're using the auxiliary verb am to form the present continuous. In this situation, we have two verbs. We have the main verb, which is working, that's the main verb. And we have the auxiliary verb, which is verb to be, I am. We call it a helping verb or an assisting verb or an auxiliary verb. Here's another example. She's helping me. Is, that's verb to be also, and it's used to form the present continuous. Again, we have the main verb, which is helping, and then we have the auxiliary verb, which is. He was tired, that's verb to be in the past. Verb to have, I have finished my work. So we use it to form the present perfect. We have the same situation here. Finish is the main verb and have is an assisting verb or the auxiliary verb. She had finished early before going home. We use the auxiliary verb here to form the past perfect. Had is the assisting verb, the auxiliary verb, and finished is the main verb. Verb to do, he doesn't speak English. That's a negative sentence. Doesn't is an auxiliary verb, and speak is the main verb. Did you watch the match? That's a question. Did is an auxiliary verb, and watch is the main verb. But why do we need to use the auxiliary verbs? They are used for a number of purposes to avoid repetition, like this example. I like cats, but my husband doesn't. So instead of saying I like cats, but my husband doesn't like cats, we just say I like cats, but my husband doesn't. Sally's coming tonight, but Angela isn't. Again, instead of saying Sally's coming tonight, but Angela isn't coming tonight, we can just say Sally's coming tonight, but Angela isn't. And it's understood that she isn't coming. So the first purpose is to avoid repetition. We use auxiliary verbs with so and neither to show that you are agreeing with someone or that you are the same. I loved his latest novel. So did I. So you loved it and I loved it too. It's another way of saying I loved his latest novel too. You can say that, or you can just say so did I. I loved it too. I haven't finished it yet. Neither have I. So it means that I haven't finished it yet too. We use so when the sentence is affirmative. We use neither when the sentence is negative, haven't. This is how it works. But in the same in both situations, we're using it to agree with what someone is saying. Andrew's a doctor, and so is his wife. So he is a doctor, and his wife is also a doctor. We use so for this situation. To say that someone or something is different. I don't like shopping online. I do. So in this situation, I'm different. You don't like shopping, but I like shopping. Remember here that in that situation, you have a negative sentence, a negative statement, and to say that you're different, you have to use a positive statement. Or the opposite. If somebody makes a positive statement, then what you can do is to make a negative sentence. Like when somebody says, for example, I like shopping, and then you say, I don't, so I'm different. Okay. To show interest or surprise by what someone said. I got the full mark in the test. You did, so I'm surprised or I'm interested. That's great. I will make dinner tonight. You will. I'm impressed. In the situation, we're using the auxiliary verb, and in that situation, we're using a modal verb. Modal verbs are like will and would and can and could, may, might, should, and so on. To show emphasis, to confirm that something's true, especially when someone is assuming the opposite. You didn't lock the door. I did lock it. I know I did. So this person is making an assumption that I didn't lock the door, and I'm trying to say that no, I actually locked it. So I say I did lock it. We use verb to do usually for emphasis. We use it in the past or the present or any form. And after that, we use the infinitive. You can remove did here in the situation. You can just say I locked it. But if you want to confirm, if you want to emphasize that you actually did that, you can use do or did or does. To make question tags. Question tags are used to check information. Like when you say, she can speak Italian. Can she? So I'm not sure. Like I'm not 100% sure that this lady can speak Italian. So I say, she can speak Italian. Can she? And then you will answer me by saying, yes, she can, or no, she can't, because I'm not sure. We also use question tags to get someone to agree with you. So you are not checking the information. You are sure about what you're saying, but you want the other person to say, yes, yes, you're right. Like what? Like, this is such a beautiful view, isn't it? Imagine the situation. You're looking at a certain view and you love it so much, and there's someone sitting or standing next to you, and you want him to agree with you. You want him to say the same thing. So you say, this is such a beautiful view, isn't it? You're not asking him a question for real. This is not a question. You're just trying to start a conversation, and you're expecting that this person will say, yes, it is a beautiful view. So it's different from the previous example. In the previous example, I'm not sure. Like, I'm asking, and maybe the answer can be yes or no. But in this situation, I know that the answer is gonna be yes. Okay, here are some exercises to practice using the auxiliary verbs or the modal verbs. Again, modal verbs are like will or would or may or might or must or should or can or could and so on. What you need to do is to read the statements and complete them using an auxiliary verb or a modal verb. Take your time, and I'm going to show you the answer in a few seconds. You can pause the screen, of course, if you want to write down your answers, and then you can take a look at my answers. Okay, let's take a look at the answers, and remember to pause the screen because you need more time, of course. He's booked the flights, hasn't he? Now, that's verb to have. He has booked the flights. And of course, you have to use it as it is. And you have to use it in the negative form, because if you have it in the affirmative, you use negative. If it's negative, you use affirmative. You may ask me, how do I know that this is verb to have? It could be verb to be. No, it's not verb to be. How do I know? Because you need to look at the verb that comes after it. If the verb that comes after it is in the present, is in the past participle form, which is the third form, then that's verb to have. But if after that you have an adjective or something like that, then that's verb to be. Number two, it's hot today, isn't it? Now, that's an adjective. So this is verb to be. So, of course, we have to use verb to be. And because it's affirmative, we're going to make it negative. Number three, why didn't you go to the meeting? I did go to the meeting, but I left early. Here we have the infinitive form. So the only auxiliary verb which is followed by the infinitive form is did. And we're using it for emphasis. I'm confirming that I went to the meeting because that person is assuming that I didn't go to the meeting. Number four, I wouldn't like to be a celebrity. Neither would I. So you wouldn't like to be a celebrity, and I am the same. I'm like you. I don't want to be a celebrity too. So remember to use the same modal verb. If you have would, use would. Emma doesn't like me. She does like you. She just doesn't want to go out with you. So again, we're using does for emphasis because this person is assuming something and we're telling him that you are wrong. So we use verb to do. And after that, we use the infinitive. Number five is exactly like number three. We are using verb to do for emphasis. Let's continue practicing. Do the same thing in these statements. You need to complete using an auxiliary verb or a modal verb. Will, would, may, might, must, can, could, anything like that. Take your time, and I'm going to show you the answers in a few seconds. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. Mike is arriving tomorrow. Is he? So I'm surprised. I thought he was arriving today. So we're using an auxiliary verb. But you have to use the same auxiliary verb. Here we have verb to be, so you have to use verb to be. What did you think of the movie? Tom liked it, but I didn't. Past, past. We're using verb to do here to avoid repetition. This means, but I didn't like it. But you don't have to say like it. Just say I didn't. Are you a vegetarian? Yes, I am. And so is my boyfriend. My boyfriend is the same. We have verb to be here, so make sure that you use verb to be here also. You remember to call me. Won't you? Question tag. Yes, of course. I really want to go to Thailand, but unfortunately, my husband doesn't. He's different. I want to go. He doesn't want to go. And you don't have to say, my husband doesn't want to go. It's understood. If I say, I really want to go, and my husband doesn't, so it means he doesn't want to go. Here's a different exercise. You need to complete the conversation with a suitable auxiliary verb, like this example. You're Tom's sister, aren't you? So do the same thing in the sentences 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now I'm going to show you the answers. If you need more time, pause the screen. You're Tom's sister, aren't you? Yes, I'm Carla. It's a great club, isn't it? Because we're talking about the club and we have verb to be here, isn't it? Well, it's okay, but I don't like the music much. You don't? So I'm showing some kind of surprise. So this person says, I don't like the music. And I say, you don't? You don't like the music? I love it. I've never been here before. Neither have I. So I have never been, I'm agreeing with this part. I have never been here, neither have I. If you're agreeing with a statement, you have to use the same tense used in that statement. We have verb to have here, so use verb to have. And then I don't go clapping very often. Oh, you don't? I'm showing surprise. I'm showing surprise with that statement. I don't go clapping. So to show surprise with a statement, use the same tense. I don't, you don't. I do. So I'm different. You don't go clubbing, but I go clubbing. So that's why we use verb to do. In fact, I usually go most weekends. You do? I'm showing surprise again. I go most weekends. You go most weekends. So if you want to show surprise, use an auxiliary verb. I can't afford to go out every weekend. Let's continue practicing. Do the same thing. You have this conversation. It's related to the previous conversation. Complete using any suitable auxiliary verb. Take your time. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. I didn't see you at Tom's birthday party last Saturday. Why didn't you go? Past. I didn't see you, so use the past. I did go. Emphasis. But I got there really late because my car broke down. Oh, that's why I didn't see you. I left early. I'd like something to drink. I'm really thirsty after all that dancing. So am I. Okay, so if I'm agreeing with that statement that I am thirsty, I'm gonna use the same tense here. I am thirsty, so am I. But if you're agreeing with this statement, I would like something to drink, so you have to use the same modal. So would I. Both are correct here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this lesson was useful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.